everybody, thanks for tuning in to Jameson Run today. So today is going to be my first attempt at quarter sawing a log. So a lot of people who have used sawmills before are very familiar with this. So this video goes out to all the true sawyers, all the people who know what they're doing with a sawmill. This is my fourth log I've ever milled in my life. So feel free to critique me, teach me some stuff. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to learn. I watched a handful of videos on it. I have an idea as to what I'm doing, but bringing that into play actually on the mill is a little bit different than just sitting there watching other people do it. So I hope you have some pointers for me. My understanding of it is basically what we're going to do is we're going to take this log here and we are going to kind of do a top cut here. We're going to flip it over, do a top cut. We're going to kind of bring the log, these bark piece edges off the log. And then basically what we're doing is we're going to, at least the pattern that I'm picking to choose, because there's a lot of people have different sawing patterns, but what I'm going to attempt to do is bring the saw blade right here, because we're going to box out this part of the log here. And from my understanding, that's the least useful, or not least useful, but most likely to crack part of the log. So instead of just straight cutting across this, having live edges or anything like that, what you're doing is you're quartering the log once we have these edges trimmed off, and then you're turning that log basically 45 degrees. If I understand that correct, that you need to saw those 45 degree with the grain. So really, a gentleman told me on his video, he said, and he's from Alabama, so he's got a lot of good stuff, apparently rated like #1 for quality of lumber, but he said really what you need to do is just pay attention to the grain of the log. So it should be sawn at 45 degrees. Basically the grain should be even on either side of the board. That way it dries vertically and horizontally the same is ideally what you're trying to do. That way you're not getting bowing and cupping in your boards. Like most of the big box stores, Home Depot and Lowe's, you always get those crooked wild boards. So quality lumber. He said, made a good point. He goes, if you're going to take the time to harvest the tree, cut it down, bring it to your mill, then saw it, all that kind of stuff, why not take the time to learn how to do it right? This is my attempt at it so far. So I hope you enjoy this. Like I said, please give me some pointers, some tips. If you got easier ways to do this, let me know. folks, so we are 1/4 of the way through our quarter sawn process, or quarter sawn experiment, I should say. And so far, I've had a spring break for the clutch that pulls the handle back and disengages the clutch. So I had to push that forward and fix that. What a random thing to happen. And then I also, whenever you quarter saw, you're turning them, on their quarter, but they're already basically in a triangle. So what I was ending up doing is I was trying to put one of these guys up against my stops, sitting like this. So then I got that 45-degree angle, and then I could actually just mill. If this is our 45-degree angle, then our other board would be flat, and I could just mill them right down. Well, it worked for a board or two, and then it kicked loose, flipped over, and I ended up having to readjust my guides. Pulled the band off. It didn't bend or break anything, but just, I guess, a poor choice on my end. However, I did want to go ahead and show you the difference between the quarter sawn and the flat sawn boards here. So let's check them out. So this top board right here, this is a quarter sawn board. This is also the largest quarter sawn board that I've gotten so far. I'm gonna grab a tape measure here. You can see on the ends, it's kind of got some funky shape to it here. You have to end up trimming those off. But let's say actual usable board here, we're looking at about 6 inches, maybe 5.5 on that usable board. End up trimming these edges off. And look at the grain. I mean, grain's nice. Not as nice as I expected, I'll be honest. If we look at the board underneath, now this board is a little bit wet, but this was the flat sawn one. I can't really say that I love the quarter sawn grain any better than I love the flat grain. I think the flat grain, or flat sawn grain, looks better, to be honest, at least in this case. And the only other thing that I've come up with, as I've read, I'm sure quarter sawn lumber is way more dimensionally stable. It is a higher quality lumber, but I'll be honest, for my purpose and use of things, I think flat sawn is the way to go. It seems really wasteful for what I'm doing. I mean, I'm using this to create things. A lot of this is going to be used for making like chicken coops, not this cherry, but all the logs that I'm going to saw here. So this cherry I'm kind of just putting away. I'm making them 1.1 thick, so there should be plenty for cupping and bowing. I can just plane that off and we'll be all right. But yeah, it feels really wasteful, especially since I don't need a super high grade lumber right now. It is more of just I just need lumber. I need some wood to use here. So with that being said, I have these set up. We're gonna finish quarter sawing them. Just run down those and get those taken care of. But from here on out, unless somebody requests quarter sawn, or we have something specific that we're building and we need quarter sawn lumber, I think I'm going flat saw. It just seems to make sense to me. So worth the experiment, worth a try, learning experience. I've learned that I like flat sawn better. I mean, it is definitely more fun. It's a lot less work, especially on a manual mill. Some guys have hydraulic mills where they can just roll the logs, flip them, and turn them. That's easy. Let's see, so far I've got about 1 hour and 15 minutes on this mill quarter sawing these, and I've only quarter sawed a quarter of it. So time wise, material wise, I just feel bad cutting boards up, and seeing a lot of it go into my firewood pile. So maybe I'm doing this wrong. Like I said, if I am, ladies and gentlemen, please tell me. I would love to quarter saw and create higher quality lumber if there's a less wasteful and better way to do it. So please let me know in the comments. Right, get rid of that piece of log. All right, let's fire it up, little man.